Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Neck Crochet Tejido. Today I'll be teaching you how to do this yoke for a top-down sweater with short rows. I hope you guys like it. It is for the next tutorial. I'm getting you guys ready for when I do this beautiful sweater. You guys will know what to do. I'm going to be working in a lighter color because the sweater is in a darker color and you guys don't going to see much of what I'm doing. So that's why I decided to go ahead and get you guys ready for that tutorial. So I hope you guys like it and give it a try. And here is the list of material you're going to need to make it. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you receive a Spanish video and you want to see it in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel. There you will find the English version in there. Also, at the end of the video, I leave a link of a playlist with all my English tutorial. To do the yoke of a sweater, top down, the round part, I'm gonna use this Fashion Plus Meals and Assortments Amazing Value 100% acrylic, medium 4, hand wash and dry flat. And it's a gorgeous color. So I already have this one here outside the package. And a 6mm crochet hook. So I already made a sweater that I'm gonna post next Wednesday. Is this one. So I want to show you how you're gonna do this part, the yoke, because here is where the increase are done. And I made this one with a darker yarn, so that's why I'm making this video first to do this part, and then you can go next week and continue with the rest of the sweater doing this part. But I explained in that video as well how to do this, but in a darker color, because this is where you had to do the increase like I mentioned. The rest is the star stitch that is done with a denim color. Is you can see that, and the rest of the sweater is done with rounds of single crochet and double crochet. No increase, no decrease, it's just straight stitches. So it's the easiest part. So that's why I wanted to record this one, that way just in case you had trouble seeing this one. I'm gonna leave a link when I put this one in my channel with this yoke, okay, just in case. And maybe later I will use the yoke that I'm gonna make now with this yarn and make another sweater with a different design, okay. So you can do your sweater, a different sweater, starting with the yoke the same, and then the rest change, like you can do stripes, 2 rounds in one color and 2 in another one, and combine the stripe, combine the stitches. You can do different sweater, but this is the basic yoke, okay. So in this one I just wanted to mention that you're gonna start doing a chain multiple of 5 for your color. So you have to measure your neck to decide the length of your chain multiple of 5. So you're gonna start with a slip knot. I'm gonna do a chain of 70. So you can do this all different size as long the chain is multiple of 10. You can do 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, even 30. Depends if you want for a little girl. So you're going to continue until you have the length that you need for your chain. Remember, mine is a size large and I'm making 70 chain. So the best way is for you to measure the circumference of your neck and then do a chain that is multiple of 5 for that length. So mine was 18 inches or 46 centimeters. It was a little bit loose, not too tight around my neck, and you will see in a picture that I'm going to leave here of the sweater, of the end result, how is the look on the neck. So now you're going to let it flat that way. It's not twisted. That's the best way to do it. and then you're gonna go to the first chain, and you're gonna do slip stitch. You're gonna chain 1, in the same space you're gonna do your first single crochet, and you're gonna do a single crochet on top of each chain space. So mine were 70 chains, so I had to have 70 single crochet. So this is done with 1 row or round of single crochet, 1 of double crochet. So I will meet you here at the end of this round. I'm going to finish here with a slip stitch on the first single crochet, and I have my 70 single crochet. Something that I wanted to recommend as well, if you want to do your sweater different, you can do 1 round single crochet, 1 color, and the round of double crochet a different color, and all the round of single crochet 1 color, all the round of double crochet the same color. That way you have a 2-color sweater, and you don't have to do any special stitch, just that. So here you're going to chain 3, and we're going to work in a round of double crochet, and that's the round of increase. So you're going to do a yarn over, and you're going to go at the same space that you did the 3 chain, and I'm going to pass through the slip stitch to the back of the single crochet, like that, right through, and I'm going to do my first increase. So I have 2 stitches on the same space. I'm going to do a yarn over, and now I'm going to do 4 double crochet and the next 4 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 single double crochet and top of 4 single crochet. And then next single crochet you're gonna do 2 double crochet in the same space. That's 1 and 2. Again you're gonna do 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4 separate single double crochet. Keep saying single crochet, see, in 4 different space, and in the next single crochet you're gonna do 2 double crochet for an increase. And that's why is the stitch is multiple of 5, because you start with an increase. That's the first stitch, 1, and then you do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is your 5 stitches. And again you start with 2 together, 2 double crochet in the same space, and 5 separate double crochet, and so on. And I'm sorry if sometimes I say single crochet, it's because I'm working single and double crochet and it get a little bit confusing, but you know this is a round of double crochet. I will show you one more time. You're gonna do 4 separate double crochet, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 double crochet in the same space at the single crochet from the round before, and like that you're going to continue all the way around, and you're going to finish here with 4 double crochet, 4 separate double crochet. I'm going to do my 4 separate double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm going to do a slip stitch, not in the 3rd chain but in the one that is from the double crochet, and there in the top I'm going to do my slip stitch. That way this work in here will be nice and straight. You're going to chain 1, and in the same space you're going to do your first single crochet, and you're going to do a single crochet and top of each double crochet. And if you're doing this with a different color, so you bring the yarn without cutting it from the back, from the first single crochet round to the back, and then you do this with the color that you're using for your single crochets, like that. no increase or anything, just single crochet. To finish here, you have to do your last single crochet. You see, this is the double crochet, and here is the slip stitch that you did on top of not the chain 3 but in here. So in that slip stitch you have to do your last single crochet, because we are skipping the chain when we do the slip stitch. That way our work is nice and straight, and if you don't do that last single crochet in here, you'll be decreasing 1 stitch. So now you go and top the first single crochet and you do your slip stitch, and if you look at your work, you are right on top of the chain 3. Now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and now we're going to do a double crochet round and an increase round. So we don't want the increases to be in the same spot of the last increase, otherwise we'll have our sweater with points, you know, don't want to be round. So the increase now that we have to do is 6 stitches and 1 increase. But if we do 6 stitches and 1 increase, will be on top of the increase from the round before. So those 6 we're going to divide it in half. So we're going to start with 3 double crochet and then 1 increase, and then 6, 1 increase, 6, 1 increase, and at the end we're going to finish with those 3 from those 6. Okay, you're only going to do that on the even number of divisible by 2 number increases. So that counts as the first double crochet. So you go to the next single crochet and you do 1, that's 2, and in the next one is 3. Now you do an increase, is 2 double crochet in the same space, 1 and 2, and now you do 6 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and you're going to do 2 in the same space for an increase, 1 and 2. So in here you start with an increase in this round, and the other increase is here. So now in this one you have an increase here and an increase in here. You see, there's no on top of that one. So now you're going to continue 6 and increase, 6 is 6 double crochet, and in the next one 2 double crochet in the same space, and like that all the way around, and you're going to finish with 3 double crochet at the end. I will show you one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 separate double crochet, and in the next single crochet you're going to do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2 in the same space, and like that you're going to continue this round. So I'm going to finish here with my 3 double crochet, so that's 1, 2 and 3. And if you look at this third one, it's right on top of the last one in here. That's why I mentioned that you have to do that single crochet in between the double crochet and the slip stitch, because you are skipping to 1 stitch over the chain, the chain 3. Like now you count 1, 2, 3 chain, and instead to work in the third chain, you go in the top of the double crochet and you do the slip stitch. And like that, this will be nice and straight. And I'm sorry, Roxy is barking. I'll have to let her in. Let me finish here. So you're going to chain 1 and you're going to do a single crochet round. So 1 single crochet on top of each double crochet. So let me let Roxy in. Sorry about that, Roxy is already in. Now you're going to continue with a single crochet on top of each double crochet with no increase, and this is round 5. Now I have to do my last single crochet, and the last single crochet go in between the last double crochet that you have here and the chain 3 space. So in between those two you go in here and you do your single crochet, and then you do a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and like that you are creating a nice and straight work. Okay, so now you're gonna chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we have to do an increased round, and this is round number 6, so it will be 7 double crochet and 1 increase in this one. So you have 1, so you go to the next single crochet and you do 2, and the next one 3, and so on until you have 7 separate double crochet. So 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and in the next space you're going to do 2 double crochet in the same space, and like that you're going to continue all the way around with 7 double crochet, and then in the next space 2 double crochet for an increase. Now I'm going to finish here with my 7 separate double crochet and an increase in the last one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and in the last one here we do an increase, and then you're going to do your slip stitch, not on top of the 3 chain but on top of the first double crochet, and like that you finish that round. Once you finish that round, round number 6, you're going to cut your yarn in here, and then we're going to divide this in half like this. You're going to need markers in here now when you're going to do this, and then you're going to put it like this, because we're going to work a half a row or half a round to create the back a little higher than the front. So you're going to move this like this, and like that is where you're going to work in this part of the back. Okay, so you're going to do some single crochet, some half double crochet, some double crochet, and then go to the other side and do the same until you get here, and I don't count that half a round. So after that you're going to do round 7, that is a single crochet. You're going to single crochet all the way around, and then you're going to do round 8, that is an increase, and then you have to increase 8. So you will do 4 and an increase, and then 8 and increase, 8 and increase, and you're going to finish here with 4 after you finish that round. And then again we're going to do another half a round but a little bit less, and then in the front when you finish those 2 it will be like this, even in here front and back, but in the back will be a little bit higher. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get my markers, cut my yarn, and get things ready to do that part. I cut the yarn in here, and with my tapestry needle what I'm going to do, I already had my slip stitch here, but I'm going to remove it from here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass it right through and here, and you'll see why. So now with my tapestry needle, I'm going to go in the same space where I had the little slip stitch here on top of this double crochet. I'm going to pass my yarn through, and I'm going to come here in the same space where the yarn is coming out, that stitch, and I'm going to go inside to the back, and I created a stitch there that is nice and even. So that is the center where you're going to start when you're going to do the single crochet round after we do this in here. So now we're going to lose the tail a little bit, and then we're going to start creating the half of row. So and here is the chain 3, so that is the center, and what you're going to do to make sure it's in the center, is you're gonna bring it here and will be right in the center. See, it's there. So you're gonna come here and then you're gonna mark this stitch in here and in the same and the other side, the one that is in here, not right in the top, so the one after that, this way. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna move the back a little bit higher, almost touching in here, then run a single crochet. And when you do that, that gives you exactly where you're gonna start with your single crochet and where you're gonna finish, just by moving a little bit. So I'm gonna start mine. So I'm gonna skip after the marker 1 and 2, and I'm gonna start in the third one. I'm gonna put my hook. I have a slip stitch here, or a slip knot, and I'm gonna do a slip stitch to the next stitch. Okay, in here. So I go to the next one and I do my first single crochet. That's 1 of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're gonna do a half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You have to count those stitches like that, because now you're gonna come here to the other side with another marker, and what you're gonna do is what I did here. I don't count the one with the marker, so I left 1 and 2, and the next one I put my yarn and I did slip stitch to the next one, and in there I did my first single crochet. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and in the next one, that is like number 9, I'm gonna put my marker. So now I'm gonna work double crochet from this stitch to the marker. That will be double crochet, and then when I get to this marker, the next one will be half double crochet, and you will do a half double crochet and 4 single crochet and a slip stitch and the next one. So that's why I decided to do it with this color, to show you how you're gonna do this part. That way you can see what I'm doing, because with the other one I will put it on in the video, but I don't know if you're gonna see clearly what I'm doing, but it's exactly the same as this. And if you're working the design, the single crochet one color and the double crochet another color, this part you have to do it with the color of the double crochet. So you're gonna do double crochet all the way to the marker, and like that you are making this even in here. And as I bring this to the other side, you start to see this is even, and I already have the back will be a little higher. So I will measure here when I get to my marker with double crochet. So I finished here my double crochet where I have my marker, so now I have to do a half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I have to do 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and a slip stitch. William broke a balloon. He got scared. That's why he's crying. So you're gonna do a slip stitch, and then between the slip stitch and the marker you have 2 full stitches. So now you're gonna cut your yarn and lose that tail if you want to lose that tail now, and we're gonna start in a round of single crochet. But in the other sweater I did this in between round 4 and 5, and sorry that I made this one between 6 and 7. What happened was I was looking at my other sweater and since it's dark, I didn't realize that I between this one and that one was where I did this. So it don't matter if you do one or two lower. So the next round will be round 7 will be single crochet, and then after that round 8 it increase for double crochet and an increase, and then 8 and an increase, 8 and an increase, and finish with 4. And then when you finish that round again, you'll cut your yarn, and we're gonna do the half of round to create that in the front. So let me show you in this one that I have here, and this is the back, and in here 1 2 3 and 4, and no 1 2 3 and 4, and here is the half of the round, and this one here. So you see it's very confusing with this color. And then here is the single crochet, the round of double crochet, and the other little piece. The other little piece is just from here to here, just to bring this up. So that will be for me in this one between round 8 and 9. So no matter if that is one round lower in the back. So now I'm gonna cut the yarn and lose the tail and come back here in the center and start working on round 7. And I'm sorry about that, that I didn't realize that I'm supposed to do that in between this one and here. So I lost my tails except this one that is my guide, and I'm gonna come here in the center. You see, this is the chain in here. So I did a slip stitch, a slip knot, and then I did a slip stitch here, and that will count for me as the first chain. And then I'm gonna do a single crochet, and I'm gonna do a single crochet and top of each stitch, and I will lose the tail at the same time. So far so good. So it's very easy, and even that I'm working in the other one with the darker color, it's exactly that like this, except like I mentioned that I did a half of the round, one round more. So you want to continue doing single crochet. So if you are a tight crocheter, I recommend to use for your sweater a bigger size. I crochet very loose. You see, here is the stitch where I did my slip stitch. So there is where I do my single crochet. Not on top of the slip stitch, but in the regular of the double single crochet or double crochet, because it was double crochet before. So you're gonna continue like this. So like I mentioned, if you are a tight crocheter, I recommend to go a half a size or one size needle bigger if you're doing a large, because maybe don't gonna be exactly the same size as mine. So you see, here is nice and round and nice and even. Here is where I start the other half around, but this in the outside is nice and even. So like that, you're gonna continue all the way around and finish here with a slip stitch, and then we do the next round, round 8, that is an increase round. So I finish here with my slip stitch, and look how nice and round this look in the outside. Don't look like you did this extra little piece in here. So now you're gonna chain 3 in this round 8. We are supposed to do 8 and an increase, so we're gonna divide those 8 in half. So 1 2 3 and 4, and in the next one we're gonna do an increase, 1 and 2, and now 8 and an increase, 8 and an increase, and at the end you're gonna finish with 4 double crochet. Okay, those other 4, that is the half of the 4 that we start with. Okay, the other half of these. So you're going to continue all the way around, and when you finish this round we're going to do another half a round. Okay, so again you're going to cut the yarn here and lose that tail like I showed you from the time before when we cut the yarn, and then we're going to work another half of a round like I showed you before. Again, we're gonna do that part. We're gonna fold this in the center, and you're gonna pull where you want to do the extra, but you're gonna measure the end of this row or round with the round of single crochet in here, because in there we're gonna work those double crochet, and you see here I show you where you're gonna around where you're gonna start to do. You see around here you're gonna start working until the same and the other side. That's the piece of round that you're gonna do, and in the front will look like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna place the marker where I'm gonna work, so it will be around here. And this side I'm gonna start my piece of round, this small, and I'm gonna count from the top: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 and 13. So I'll do the same on the other side: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, and past 13. And it's a coincidence that is in here I have an increase, and here is in the center of the increase as well, so you can guide yourself by that. And I'm gonna work from marker to marker. I'm gonna start with my slip knot, and this time I'm gonna go exactly where the marker is. I'm gonna pass the loop, and I'm gonna do a slip stitch to the next stitch in here. Now in that space I'm gonna do a single crochet. I don't gonna chain one, it's just right there. I'm gonna do a single crochet. That's 1 and 2 single crochet. Now you're gonna do 4 half double crochet. 1 2 3 and 4. Now you go to the other side, and in the marker you're gonna finish with the slip stitch, and you're gonna do the last single crochet in here. So that's 1 and 2, and then 4 half double crochet, 1 2 3 and 4. And in the next one I'm gonna place my marker, because I'm gonna work from here to this marker, double crochet, and then finish exactly the same I start on the other side. Now we're going to do 4 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and a slip stitch where the marker is, like that. And like this you finish that little piece of round. And just by doing that, you are creating a really nice top. Flipping like that, and put it even here. You see, it's nice and even. It will give you the higher back. Now I'm gonna start in the center. I'm gonna do a slip knot. And I'm gonna do my single crochet in here, and I'm gonna do a single crochet on each space, and this is round 9. Remember those 2 half a row, I don't count them because they're only half. So you're gonna do single crochet all the way around, and the next round is a double crochet, and it's an increase round. Okay, now we're going to work in round 10, and it's a double crochet and increase as well. And the last increase that we did was 8 and 1 increase, and now we have to do 9 and an increase. For the one with 8, what we did 4 and we increase, and then 8 increase, 8 increase, and we finish with the other 4 at the end. But now you have to do the 9 because you don't can divide 9 in half. So you're gonna chain 3 and you're gonna do 9 double crochet. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 double crochet. And in the next one you're gonna do an increase, so that will be 2 double crochet in the same space, and like that you're gonna continue all the way around this round, and you're gonna finish here with an increase. Okay, so you have to start trying this on because I don't know exactly the size that you're making this, how many stitches you start with or anything. So I don't know the length that you have to work before you change to the next color. I know my size and how many rows I had to work for mine, but I don't know yours. So that's what you have to do. Try and try each time you do a round, if you can. Try it and to see when you have to finish. So here I'm going to show you in this one. I work into round 13. That was around a single crochet for mine before I changed color. Those was the increase that I did in this part, and when you change to this stitch, I don't did any increase or anything because this is a very loose stitch, so it kept going with the width of the piece. Don't don't shrink or anything. It's nice, and you see in here, it's perfect, the perfect width. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna continue working until it's time to change the color. For mine was 13 round, and I finished with a single crochet, and the increases in the top. After that round of single crochet, I don't have to do any more increase or anything because I did this and I kept with the width of the piece, and then I did one row of single crochet and one of double crochet, and then I separated the sleeve. That's what I did for mine. So, and this is 3 round of this stitch. So that was 13, then 14, 15 and 16 is this. So I did my last 2 double crochet in the same space, and I'm gonna come here on top of the first double crochet and do my slip stitch, and like that you finish that round. And that was number 10. Now we had to do number 11, but if you want to do another half round for yours, you do the same. You just bring this again to the round of single crochet. You bring it up, and you see it will show you exactly where you're gonna start to do your stitches to the other side. Okay, and in the front then will be like this, a little lower the color. But for mine, for the dark one, I only did 2, and that was like this one. It's a little bit lower because I don't want it too low in the front. So it's up to you if you want to do that extra half a round. So now you're going to do a round of single crochet all the way around, and after that we'll do row number 12. That is an increase round, and there will be 10 in between increase. So we'll start with 5 in increase, 10 in increase, 10 in increase, and then finish with 5. And then after that we will do row 13, that is a round of single crochet, and then after that you can change to a color if you want to do a design, or just continue working with the piece the same color. Okay, but now we're going to do round 11, that is a single crochet round. So I'm going to do my single crochet round and chain 1 and a single crochet in the same space and a single crochet on each space all the way around. And then after that I will measure here to do the next one, the increase round. Now I'm going to chain 3. I did my slip stitch, I finished the round 1, 2 and 3, and now we have to do 10 and an increase. So in the beginning we had to divide 10 in half, so we'll do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and now an increase. And this is my last round of increase for mine. Remember, you have to keep trying yours, because maybe what is good for me is not good for you. And now I have to do 10 and an increase, and then you will finish with 5 double crochet, because remember now it's 10 and an increase, so 5 in the beginning and 5 at the end will give you those 10. Okay, and then next row is a single crochet. I finished that round, and this in here it will look like this, because remember you have 2 half a round more in the other side, and it's pushing this way your opening of the color. Okay, so now you're gonna chain 1 and you're gonna do your round a single crochet, and this is round 13, and then I will meet you here. Well, I finished this part and I'm done for this tutorial. It's until here. Now in the next video, next week, I will be showing you how to continue or how to do this sweater. I showed the entire thing, and probably I'll have to divide the video in two because it's probably too long to do just one, but I show right from the beginning all the way to the end for this one. And I just showed you how to work until here. That was my last round of increase for mine and for this one. Now if I decide to go with different design, maybe I have to do some more increase in here. So in the next video we'll be doing this one, and I gotta keep this one because I want to use this for another sweater. You know, I already done all that work. I want to do something, so I will do a video, but I don't gonna include this. I will send, if you don't see this in the other video, I will send you guys back to this one to do this part and then go to the video to finish the sweater because they are long anyway. Now if you want to continue with this, no design or anything, you have to continue with the increase if you have to do more, this bigger. So you will do a round of double crochet now, so you will do continue with the same repetition of increase. Now you will do 11 double crochet and an increase, 11 and an increase. The round after that one you will do a single crochet, and the round after that one you will do 12 and an increase, but you divide 12 and a half and you start with 6 and an increase, and then 12 increase, 12 increase, and then you finish with the other 6. And you continue with those repetition until you have this big enough for you. Okay, so that's the sequence. You can make many different style of sweater just by doing this. Okay, so this is the important part, and that's what I wanted to show you in a lighter color. Well, I hope you guys like it, and give thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make anything with this design, any sweater, any cardigan, and you want to send me some pictures, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Ne Crochet Tejido, or my Instagram, Ruby Ne Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family and in groups. That way you help me grow here on YouTube. And I will see you here next week with the entire design of the sweater. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.